Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Authentic Online Marketing Podcast. Christmas season is upon us. We just went through Black Friday and Thanksgiving and all the goodies, and now we're ready to finish out the year strong, right? Today, we're going to talk about why audience clarity is the secret to driving traffic from your bio on Instagram. So let's talk about audience clarity. Everybody knows it's difficult to get people off of Instagram and clicking onto your site in your link in bio. You want them to go to your podcast, your blog, or maybe it's a shop, maybe it's Shopify. However, it's not impossible. And I'm living proof of that. I know how to do this, which is why I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that today, because there are some things that you can start to begin driving that traffic from Instagram onto your site. The biggest thing we want to talk about today, though, is audience clarity. Audience clarity. You have to get clear on who it is that you serve. Do you know who that is? Stay tuned.
Welcome to Authentic Online Marketing with Ruthie Gray. Growing awareness for your blog, podcast, book, or product involves more than dancing to reels and yelling, "Buy my thing." This show models quality over clamor so you can put your spin on your message and market in a way that feels authentic to you, because nobody wants to sound like an infomercial. And now, here's your host, Ruthie Gray.
All right, everybody. Like I've said many times before, a lot of people that follow me happen to be women my age in our second half of life. We're trying to get used to not raising kids anymore. It's kind of exciting, you know. Once you get over the grief and you realize that the kids are leaving, that part of your life is over. It's an era that's come and gone. But then you realize, hey, I can do some other stuff. Maybe I can try some new stuff, and maybe I want to try my hand at being an entrepreneur. Well, it's fun to help other people with this. And that's what I love to do, is to help them market on Instagram and via email. So a lot of people that follow me are old souls also. They're not necessarily all my age. Some of them are still raising kids, but we just kind of connect for some reason. I know who my target audience is. Do you know who yours is? They're a certain age. They're a certain demographic. They're a certain gender. They're in a certain walk of life. They read certain types of magazines. They go to a certain type of mall. They listen to certain types of music. This is true for my demographic, my audience, and it is true for yours too, whether you know who that is or not. So that's the first step in fostering audience clarity. You have to get clear on who it is you serve. And the way I did this was by testing my audience to see who responded to my content, because I was sharing my life in stories. If you haven't quite bought into the power of stories yet, let me just challenge you to start doing stories 5 days a week, just sharing from your life without an agenda for 1 month and see what happens. So I started just doing snapshots of myself in doctor's offices a lot of the time with my mom and dad in the season of caregiving. I'm a GiGi, so I did snaps of my grandkids and funny things that they said. My grandson was known as largely the tiny tornado because he was a force to be reckoned with, but he was also super, super funny and so cute. He's still super funny and cute, but the kid's, 8 years old now. So we're talking young grandkids. And so things like that. And then those kind of people, the people in my stage of life, started responding. And one even said one time, I didn't know what your message was, but once I saw that you were a caregiver, I was all in. And so you connect with people on a personal level when you share what goes on in your daily life. You may think it's nothing, but I guarantee you there are people out there going through the same thing you're going through and living similar lives. And they want to know that they're not alone. And they like to see other people, in their same walk of life and empathizing. And that's why I say, I've said before, your Instagram account is what need you can meet. It's for other people and how you meet the need. And then someone questioned me one time and said, but then why am I sharing my life? It's about me and stories. Here's the deal. Stories is the intersection of your life and your audience. So you keep sharing your life. And once they realize they have something in common with you, they get invested. And here's where you get them interacting is by providing polls, quizzes, questions, just about similar things. Like someone said something about my house in Florida, because we live in two different states, West Virginia and Florida, and we split time. And someone will see my office or my outside plants or my Madagascar palms, and they'll say, oh, no way, I live in Florida too. It's just little things like that. And then if I will put up a poll, do you live in warm or cool weather this Christmas holiday? I'll get, I can just put warm on one side of the poll, cool on the other. But a lot of times people you want to make it easy so that they'll just tap and answer. Because honestly, you guys, the more answers you get on your polls, the more Instagram pushes out your stories to more people. More people watch your stories. It's how the algorithm works. But when people weigh in on stuff like that, warm or cool, they often want to go farther and tell you an answer in the DM. So when the algorithm sees that people are communicating with you on those questions and in the DM, it pushes your stories out. So you gain this common ground with your audience. And then once you have enough evidence here to see, who the people are that are regular returners, then you can kind of decipher who are these people, what kind of walk of life are they coming from, and why are they coming to my site? What is it they're connecting with me? Because honestly, once they develop that rapport with you, then and only then are they ready to invest in your message and your email list, your opt-in, and then hopefully eventually what you have to offer by way of sales. This is how you build community. This is something we foster on the inside of my membership, and all of my trainings are community-based. And the people that come to my community and start supporting one another, start buying from each other. It's just like an added benefit. It's like a networking thing. They not only buy from each other, they help each other launch, and they forge even deeper connections and a more rippled effect. A larger arc is formed there as far as outer circles of friends, and more friends come. And so that's what you want to do, is start with that, just that one pebble, casting it out into the water on your stories, and then see where it goes and who it attracts. So dissect your audience. You have to really make sure that you're delivering value. I say this a lot in your Instagram polls, in your Instagram stories, in your Instagram content, and then in your newsletter as well, correlating all of it, bringing it all around together. For instance, I told my newsletter readers last week, come and watch my live. It's a training you can get in on, and you can get the scoop. That worked. I used Instagram to create a countdown for the training. People turned on the alarm on the countdown. And then I took that alarm link and put it in my newsletter so that people over there, even if they didn't happen to see my story sticker, countdown sticker, they saw it in the newsletter, they could turn it on and be reminded to come and watch my live. So that's how you can make the two work together. So in order to figure out who your people are, number one, understand their needs and wants in tandem with your brand, your mission, and your business goals. They all go together. So it's not just about you, and it's not all about them, but it's that intersection there. What do you have to offer? And what is it about you that they enjoy? Do they like your training? Do they like your personality? Do they like your sense of humor? Do they like your lifestyle? What is it? And then capitalize on that content. Number two, provide bite-sized information to keep your audience coming back, and then analyze the interaction to see who's most involved, who they are, their characteristics, all of that. Number three, do polls and other targeting strategies to get to know them better. Don't ever let the conversation die. Keep it going. Keep sharing your life. Keep asking people questions. Just ask people what kind of tree they like. Do they like the blue spruce Christmas trees, or do they like just the plain old green Christmas trees? Do they have a real tree, or do they have a fake tree? Just things like that can start a conversation and spark it and get it going, get it off the ground. So to reiterate, when fostering audience clarity, you need to know who you're talking to, and then create an opt-in in your link in bio that speaks specifically to those people and their felt need, and then get them on your newsletter list. If you don't have a newsletter list, I have a course that is available within my Authentic Online Marketing School, and it is the 30-day email marketing school. And you'll hear a little bit more about it in December. If you hear of this after that, don't worry, the doors will open again in 2022. But you want to be ready for that, because if you don't have an email list, or if you don't have a thriving email list, or if you don't know what to write in your newsletter, then that's something that I teach inside the Authentic Online Marketing School. And so stay tuned for that. For now, start really honing in on your people and who they are, figuring out who they are, and start sharing those stories just 5 times a week for the next month and see where it takes you. Thanks for joining us today. I would love it if you would tap the 5 stars and give us a little review. And if you will do that and screenshot it and tag me, I will tag you back. I would love to hear from you. And I would love to have you as a follower on Instagram too. Let's connect. Next week, we're going to talk about posting strategy. My daughter and son are going to join me, and we're going to give you 10 tips for your 2022 posting strategy. So don't miss it. Thanks for staying tuned. See you next week.